Salutations everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Space Pirates and Zombies 2. I'm your host, BrainBoy20, and Space Pirates and Zombies, for those who aren't aware, is a series, basically a role-playing game with space combat / RTS elements by MinMax Games, who are noted for the previous Space Pirates and Zombies game. We did play and feature the entire first Space Pirates and Zombies game as one of my earlier series in the creation of this channel, and it only seems natural that we come back to this shortly after its release. I believe it was actually released late May of 2016 as a bit of time frame. This is early June? Actually, it's June 1st. Anyway, that's not the point. Let's get started, shall we? We're going to do a new campaign as I'm going completely blind. The only thing I actually know of this game so far is
It should be noted that currently we use computer-synthesized voices for the main cast.
We plan to replace them with real voice work at some point in the near future.
If you don't like these voices, you can disable them now or at any time in the sound options menu.
Huh. That's kind of disappointing, considering what the original voice cast sounded like, having such lovely voice artists such as Total Biscuit himself for the narrator. And I actually should have checked to see what the other ones are before making this comment, but ah well. I'm personally going to disable it. If you guys want to hear the synthesized voices because you think it's hilarious, go right ahead, but for those who don't know me, I like to do the reading myself because, well, who can get enough of this glorious voice? So let's begin. No speech audio. Element 126. Resin. Res. It was the answer to everything. A transmutable element with the power to unlock the secrets of the universe. It gifted humanity everything there was to know about space-time, and how to enslave it. Res triggered an explosion of technological advancement. Mankind spread to the far reaches of the galaxy, growing exponentially in numbers. Along with the reliance on Res, the United Terran Alliance was founded to control the countless population. Eventually, they sought to ration the use of Res. As Res supplies thinned, conflict arose. An epidemic of fortune-seeking miners forced their way into the galactic core, where resin was most abundant. Eventually, the primary Res source was discovered. All Res stemmed from a sinister and timeless energy being, a being awakened by the use of Res. They had sprung an ancient and recursive trap, Res being the bait no budding civilization could possibly ignore. Corruption spilled outward into the stars, twisting the biological matrix of all it touched, integrating it into machines. Mankind's own technology, their own dead, had begun to turn against them. For years they struggled to survive against a flood of abominated metal and flesh. Billions were lost to the infection, only further feeding the expanding corruption. In spite of hopeless obliteration, the very fabric of life itself arose to fight the dark entity. As a race, humanity came together for a single purpose. In some twisted way, they had found peace. Peace, however, does not last. People fell back into their self-minded ways. Humanity turned inward in a scramble for the remaining Res, which now no longer could be renewed. As the UTA lost its control over the galaxy, they collapsed the entire Warp Gate network, beyond any hope of salvage. Human ingenuity, it turns out, knows no captivity. Out of needs, a resin-based drive was developed, allowing more direct travel anywhere in the galaxy. The Void was reborn as a wild, untapped, and lawless frontier. As years passed, piracy and skirmish battles rage. Precious Res, the prize. Raw worlds are recklessly colonized and disrupted by legions of makeshift starships. An entire ecology of nomadic drifters emerged, endlessly recycling the wrecks of constant war. All the while, the nearly forgotten saviors of the galaxy tirelessly struggled to exterminate the last remnants of the infection. The main characters of the previous tale, of course. And I believe the main characters this time around. It seems like yet again you dimwits have flown my ship headlong into an infested region. This is the third time this week. 6 million forms of communication, and I'm yet to find one that can articulate how moronic you fools are. Computer, power up the weapons and shield emitters. The doctor is in. Alright, so this is the first time I've actually bothered with this. This definitely feels strange. I mean, this is basically the first time I've ever tried playing this game, so we're going to figure out how this works very quickly. Oh, this actually is how... Okay, this is a zoom feature, and that's really disorienting.
Super kill.
Okay, a point system. You are... Okay, once again, this is very concerning, as I'm not used to this at all. I don't even see a health bar anywhere. Although I'm assuming this will be one of those cases where you're basically immune to... Oh, never mind. Never you mind. I'm getting destroyed right now. Alright, I recognize the telltale signs of these being cannons as our main weapons, and the fact that we can fire directly behind us is fantastic, as the previous game was a two-dimensional style combat, two-dimensional style space combat game, where most of your weapons were locked into specific positions, barring rotating turrets. This is already vastly different. Although I can still see that most of the rules are still kept in place, like guns can't fire directly behind you, which I guess makes sense. This begs the real question of what the heck is attacking us and why can't I hit any of it? I ask, these are distances, not actual HP. I guess we can't see... Well, I don't remember. Could you see health of ships in SPAZ 1? It's been so long since I played the game. Well, this is definitely a very large tutorial. And are we destroyed already?
Game over.
Oh. By the void, level 13 is truly the bane of my existence. Carl, seriously? Do you realize crew members suffocated on the lower decks because you routed power from life support to play stupid video games? Silence, imbecile! They gave their lives for the greater good. A scientific mind must stay active, or it would wither and wrinkle. I'll boil any ocean, I'll radiate a whole litter of Narlican pups. I'll divide by 0 if I have to. I told you, he would cause trouble if you leave him to his own whim. Those implants can really make a man sick in the melon. Elsa, he's a liability if we keep him on board. Please refrain from sneaking up on another living creature like that. Do you not realize the horror people have to endure every time they look at your face? You are fortunate that I did not inadvertently dismember you in a panic-induced frenzy. Everyone, shut up! To the bridge right now. Anyone not here in 30 seconds is getting vented into space. I had a feeling that was a little bit too difficult. Although interesting tutorial. Well, I'm glad to see everyone was able to get up at the crack of noon to work towards sustaining our survival. Let me present you all the garbage dump we'll be sifting through this afternoon. Yes, most of this is useless junk. Yes, this is utterly pathetic, but what choice do we have? This ain't no way to treat this damn metal mother. This lady deserves better. Okay. He would not be the best candidate to operate the tractor prototype. Keep in mind that Carl built this thing, so it goes without saying it's dangerous. I hate to have come all this way to have Mackenzie rip us apart like those rabid chimp with Carl's untested toys. You know how those two can be. I really don't care who does what, but we need to jump on this opportunity to expand the mothership. That core module will give us some elbow room, while those wings will give us some much-needed firepower. Let's get those modules fitted so we don't have to listen to each other breathe anymore. Please pay attention to the moving picture. Feature film show. You'll be subjected to standardized testing follow this demonstration. The mothership is a modular starship. Take up the ship apart and reassemble it to fit your needs. Use cores to increase the frame size of your mothership. Cores will have stats that will boost the ship's speed, shields, health, and maneuverability. Attach wing, nose, and engine parts to your frame. Wing, nose, and engines all come equipped with weapons. Interesting. So this is the collection phase of things, I'd assume. Tractor controls left, remove parts left, hold left control. And zoom for mouse wheel. And we have 0-way open ports. Use subcores to lay out the frame of the mothership. Attach wing, okay. Oh, left control. Okay, this is definitely strange. So, tractor part. Oh, zoom. Like, I think I'm not being stupid. It should tell me how to attach, I would assume. Or apparently I'm just stupid. Maybe I am just moronic and don't understand what I'm doing. Not the frame of your ship. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. So what I'm guessing is what they want me to do is this. Detach you, and then attach you in this place. I actually want to remove that then. Remove you. But no. Get off there. Okay, that's at least an intuitive system, but I wish it was spelled out a little bit more. Because you aren't actually what I think you are. You're just wings. And you are... Okay.
What exactly do you think you're doing? Stop leaning on that overhead projection like a crutch. This isn't some archaic top-down space shooter we're playing here. This is real brutal kitten-eating life we're talking about. Join the rest of us down here in reality.
The camera can be adjusted to fit your needs. Oh. Okay. Our Omni lithium capacitor is now tapped out. I've devised a method to simply eject the spent cell while fabricating a new one out of surrounding space dust. Don't ask me how it works or why it makes sense. All I need to know is that you will be unable to fire the ship's weapons while a new cell is being installed. Okay. Certainly of interest. I'm assuming I'm not allowed to move as of yet. I know this is supposed to be a lot more open than before. Alright, I'm bringing the weapons online. If that is indeed what you want to call this garbage, let's best open some of these containers. Maybe then we can find something to eat that won't make our hair fall out. I've decided that would be best if basic resource towing was left up to the ship's computer. These items are too fragile to be handled by Neanderthals. It brought me great pain to watch you struggle with the tractor beam. Well, our tutorial would be nice. Anyway, engine's online, I can move. Alright. It's definitely a very interesting setup. I should be in range. Okay, this is how you do more precise aiming. Oh, it actually tells you what sections of the ship are currently... Well, the section of the ship you're currently looking through. And we still have the all three goons. Res, and wasn't I don't remember if there was another one. Please assimilate and perform the following diagnostic tests on the kinetic shield systems. Your life and my hull depend on it. Shields have their own power systems, but they can be boosted with capacitor power. If shields are boosted, you'll take half the damage and generate twice as fast, but you're unable to shoot. Shields consume the capacitor while boosted, so no boosting while reloading. Shields are charging. Space to boost them. Oh, okay, that makes sense. All modern space-capable engines come equipped with special regenerating boost capacitors. Please make practice rocket go fast now. I have to say, I'm impressed. You are able to lace this thing back together without eating each other. The only thing that remains now is to test the res drive. Mackenzie, stop the pre-flight procedure. From scotch and caviar to beer and tears. How is that Jameson is the only other one with ambition to dig out of this dung heap? dung heap. Just cook those bloody engines up and lay in course for somewhere that isn't here. Please. Wait a minute. Hang on. At the end of SPAZ 1, Jameson was the one that confiscated the mothership. Why don't we have the mothership? Star map. Welcome to Super Ultra Star Map 9000. This holographic interface will allow you to scan all known galactic entities, plot mothership destinations, and communicate with other ships and starbases. Please practice untethered exploration now. Time moves only when you move, which is how it was done in the previous game. All transportation, mining, harvesting, and communication is done via the star map. Take your time and plan your actions. Explore a new territory. Push right mouse button to set a destination on the map. Use mouse wheel to adjust the zoom level. And the way the game is basically working now... Sorry about that, that was my mistake. The way the game is basically supposed to work now is that the game has changed to a multi-captain setup. Like, it's supposed to be a lot more diverse and dynamic by having multiple captains each doing their own thing. The infection is its own organic thing that basically is supposed to run around, do whatever it wishes in a evolving galaxy where enemies basically can do everything you can, and it's only those that are genuinely skilled that can go deal with this. So let's go visit this lore. If we tune our warp frequency just right, we can sometimes pick up residual data transmissions bouncing around the old warp network. Though the gates are smashed beyond repair, some seem to be able to hang on to these low-density data packets, like a ghostly reminder of our past. Find lore to learn more about the universe itself. Every lore point you scan will give you goodies. You've discovered a remnant of the past. Scan it to view its secrets and file it for later viewing. Let's view it. Why not? I'm curious. The dark infection, pathogen Xeno71b, is a mutagenic infectious compound. Unlike most diseases, this pathogen is able to infect any biological material it comes into contact with, regardless of how alien. Furthermore, it is able to assimilate surrounding material into its biological matrix. Living flesh and technology can become fused, both physically and in function. Given enough time, an infected starship will become a unified entity of biomass and circuitry, absent of any crew. The abominated ships exhibit a basic understanding of the systems and technology they have assimilated, suggesting a form of intelligence. It is known the infection source originates from the dark entity, but it is not clear if the self-preserving intelligence is inherent or telepathically communicated by the dark entity. Interesting, so they actually come in pieces as well, so we're trying to acquire all bits of lore. Now, knowing me, I'm actually kind of obligated in order to do this. Ooh, interesting, they also keep a count on stations from before. Like, previous stations were places such as, like, civilians, UTA, and they'd each have different things. Like, UTA would, of course, almost always be space stations that were all combat-focused and trying to police a region, where civilians were stations that could be things like a mining core, a science division, where you could get data, which is your experience of the game, or something as simple as a hotel where a bunch of goons could be created. Don't ask how. Anyway, so we have other things to deal with in this universe. It looks like there are also bandits. There are hostile people who will run around here. Wreckages that might be of interest for our scan, but we apparently have an objective to explore, and let's read this. Now that we're finally underway, let me remind you that you cannot simply urinate in the corner and proclaim that you are the alpha meat husk. You are a minuscule fish in an otherwise colossal ocean of galactic proportions. Unless you wish to be dead before breakfast, read the advisor overlays. I've painstakingly programmed for your survival. Do not just click past them and complain in the galactic forums that you did not get the memo. Ignorance will not be excused. Read or die. Please familiarize yourself with the star map, command functions. If you do not assimilate this information now, it will be waiting for you at dinner time. All transportation, mining, harvesting, and communication is done via the star map. At any time, use the assemble ship button to drop out of warp and edit your mothership. Consider sending or dumping ship parts you are not using. They will weigh you down, making you burn more res during transit. You can review tutorials at any time by pushing the tutorial button. Okay, that's certainly interesting. So I see that I'm actually using res via transit. Alright, we're mobile. If you are thoroughly satisfied, we can finally get on with it. We will have stickies out there, not to mention a laundry list of equipment we need before we can do anything about them. Time is of the essence, and we've wasted so much of it already. As anxious as I am to find the so-called sticky, we have not encountered one of them many cycles. The ship does not yet have a nacelle to stand on, therefore we need to scout more easy opportunities to exploit. Okay, it uses 1 res, and this is 1, quote, fuel. We have our starbase, we have captains to continue exploring, we have wreckages, and of course we have the lore point. Probably 1 per every sector. So from what I see here, I'm going to head down to this area here. I'll like drop by the captain, but I'm not particularly interested in what he does. Just because it's apparently useful. So we'll scan and view just to see what happens. Failgates. After the warp gate collapse, many scientific minds stepped forward to resolve the galactic transportation crisis. While the res drive became the primary method for travel, a second warp gate network was also under heavy construction. These new warp gates were smaller and more efficient, being derived from the alien technology discovered at the galaxy core. This is in relation to a side note. This is in relation to one of the side quests completed towards the end of the game, where throughout the entire game you were collecting alien relics from civilizations past. Anyway. Trillions of these new warp gates were deployed using a gateless warp slipstream device, scattering them randomly across the galaxy. It was until the network was nearly completed did their critical flaw become apparent. The quantum entanglement compounds of the new gates began to interfere with each other, even across the span of light years. The more gates, the more the problem compounded itself. This interference caused the warp jumps to exit randomly within a short distance of their gate location, rendering the gates useless for practical use. The company abandoned the new gate project, leaving the failed gates still somewhat active. The slipstream device, however, became the prototype for the res drive all the starships use today. One advantage of the fail gates, retain, even now, is the speed in which the warp field can be instantiated. Ships have been known to utilize the random slipstream jumps as a method to flee attacking ships rather than risk spoiling up the res drive. Definitely of interest, and definitely something that probably just would come naturally. I'm guessing these aren't in any particular order. They're in fact probably going to just be effectively random. We have lore faction info, we have our engine mode which tells us the res burn. Let's take a look at our inventory. In an effort to curb interplanetary disease, just about all of our traded goods now have to go through the hands-off filtered interface. Nobody can stab you in the back or shoot you in the face using an interface like this. Just configure the deal and the autoloader should take care of the rest. And that gives us everything about trading. Alright, good enough for me. And I'm not particularly interested in trading as of right now because there's nothing to do here. So let's go towards the scrap. The problem with building an enormous structure is that warps around the entirety of a star is that it can make a huge mess when that star decides to have a stroke and blow up. Automated drones now comb these colossal scrap fields, collecting anything worth salvaging. Let's take a visit and see what happens. Alright, so I guess we have to wait till this feeder is finalized, so I guess we'll visit the wreckage. Apparently your intestines are so long that you strung them up end to end. You'll probably die. Oh, sorry, I did the voice wrong. Apparently your intestines are so long that if you strung them up end to end, you'd probably die. This your metal mother doesn't like to loot the dead, but what need do they get for intestines? Loot wrecks of war to find various supplies. Searching the wreck takes time. You may search the wreck several times to extract all the loot. Let's go and visit. And scavenge. Not everyone can be a winner. If you want to avoid joining the ever-expanding ranks of losers, you should do whatever you can to survive. This includes looting the dead for supplies and maybe candy.
Cargo acquired.
Okay, we just get a bunch of res and salvage. Well, we'll do it again, see if we get a part. I'm assuming there's not much else here.
Pillaging successful.
Alright, let's go keep visiting other locations.
Expanding.
And we actually jump straight to the starbase. I'm guessing we could become owners if they actually allow owners of starbases eventually. Well, we might as well go and take a visit to this place. I'm completely disgusted by the idea of cooperating with others in a fashion that implies intellectual equality, and often cannot be avoided. Just trying to get extorted too severely. All map locations provide a production tech bonus, which is like how the old star system worked. Starbases share local features with other connected starbases, the same faction via trade lines. The local feature icon to the left represents ship part types, while the icon on the right represents stat boosters. The more local features that are connected, the better these bases are at producing larger, higher quality ship parts. I forget how much reading this is, and my voice is now not giving out, but my tongue is getting dry and tongue-tied as a result. Oh well. In addition to a markup, Starbase will also charge faction trade taxes. Some trading with other ships can be more profitable. Just taking a look. We're not gonna fight. Hailing frequencies open. State your business and designation. And we go to Arena, visit the junkyard. Let's see what happens. I'm halfway curious. Because currently, I'm not exactly certain of what these are, but it looks like a lot of these parts are randomly generated. My question is, are these parts better than what I currently got? For the purposes of turning, not really. I think it's about the same. What are you? Your engines, probably the same that I currently got. Yep, okay. So let's just buzz on out of here. To the star map. There's wreckage here, cloning farm there, which also is all owned by this one station. I can't look around, can I? I can. Oh, there it is. Fine, fair enough. And you're hostile. And I see we can still see the rest of the galaxy as time goes on. Might as well go visit. So it looks like that place is owned by you. Let's go and explore here and see what happens, and then we'll probably end the episode here. Okay, I'm calling it now. We need to shift our focus back to more pressing needs. Everyone on board is expected to understand that the mothership takes priority over everything, including our very lives. To that effect, Mother needs to be fed. If we can't find what she needs, we die along with her. If we cannot trade for what we need, we'll have to take it by force, as cruel as it is. That's just life. I see it fit to enlighten everyone that every action on board consumes everything. Don't let these critical supplies run dry. I've gone to the effort of labeling all the viable extraction ports, as well as indicating when they are ready to harvest. I've also color-coded human selfishness, so if you're aware of any other faction claims ownership of these areas. Following basic resource nodes, blowing up the mothership is not advisable. That actually tells us fair amount of things. There was no lore in the previous one. It looks like there's some combat going on here. But Mr. Floater is harvesting, and I'm guessing we're all going to be competing for about the same thing. So I'm going to go visit this lore, read that off, and we'll probably end the episode here for a good introductory episode. No real combat has happened, but everything here is very useful. This is apparently Lore and Admiral Jameson. Let's see what happens. Admiral Jameson, 1 out of 3. For over 30 years, Jameson has served as the high-level commander of the UTA. He fought in over 200 engagements during the Lockdown Wars, 3 of which were successful. Jameson had a great deal of recognition after tracking the renegade Don Gibson during the breach incident. Jameson single-handedly thwarted the infectious outbreak following the breach, later earning him a Galactic Medal of Amazing. He's a prime example of the perfect human being. Alert 5% chance of file tampering detected. Yes. Well, one of the old characters, Don Gibson, actually turned out to be effectively enslaved to said dark voice from before. And as such, well... yeah, we'll ransack. We'll ransack and see what we can get from here. Finding good, fresh, refined alloys isn't easy. Everyone wants them, but nobody is making them. Even if we don't immediately require scrap, it's good to keep some around for trade. Every space nugget in the void will be accepted as currency. That's very much like faster than light. Anyway, Don Gibson unfortunately met his end during the final battle. as he basically was consumed entirely by the dark voice to be a spokesperson, avatar. Who knows what he technically was at that point? It didn't matter. He was the enemy, unfortunately. And with that, I believe we'll end the episode here. Hope you've all enjoyed watching. This has been BrainBoy20 with Let's Play SPAZ 2, and I am signing off. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, or subscribe, for it helps out a great deal. And if you wish to find the game, you could find it in the description below, as I've basically put a link to the Steam store there. But until then, this has been BrainBoy20, and I'm signing off.